Hello and welcome to Arts Jamboree, the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission's showcase of the arts as we unearth, develop, preserve, and promote the creative talents of Jamaicans. My name is Dion Silvera, and we have an awesome package lined up for you. So make yourself comfortable. We kick things off with music. Jamaicans, without a doubt, love their music. And the JCDC competition produces outstanding musicians and singers. Think you can be the next big thing? Let's talk to some of the past winners.
My name is Raheem Wellington. I'm currently a fourth-year student at the Michael University College studying music education. How my journey with JCDC began, it started in primary school around grade 3, thereabout. My music teacher said, come to the music room and try out, it was auditions for the choir. And then from there, my passion and love for music grew, and my love for JCDC Music Festival grew from there. There are a lot of benefits, but I'll narrow them down to about 3. One, you get to be around like-minded persons who are lovers of the performing arts, mainly music. Secondly, you get to travel to different places. I remember I was asked to perform at the King's House for the National Civic Awards ceremony, and that was one of, a major deal for me, performing in front of, dignitaries, Mr. Andrew Holness, and all of those wonderful people. And the third thing is that you develop such love for what you do. You're exposed to being on stage and hearing your name called, curtains open when you go to Little Theatre for festival, and hearing the audience applaud you and stuff. So that whole lifestyle of performance, being a performer, a true performer of the art, those are some of the benefits that I will highlight.
So I work real hard each and every day. Things for sure all going my way. Just doing what I do. Look up, boys, I'm coming through, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. People gonna come in from everywhere, and I'm almost there.
I am Heston Booth. I am a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I am also the director of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Choir and the assistant musical director for the University Singers. I have been involved with the JCDC as a performer in high school, Clarendon College, and then as a teacher at Edith Dalton James High, and then as an adjudicator for about 18 years. The JCDC is where I learned that arrangements, for example, have to be interesting. And so even working with my choirs, when I'm doing an arrangement or I'm composing something, I put in all the elements that I would use, that I would want to see from a piece in the JCDC Music Festival, in my arrangements and in my compositions. Being an experienced adjudicator, I have been able to transfer that to my daily work, which is JCF Choir and the University Singers.
When Jamaica started in 2013, our main performing base was like in the hotel circuit, and like we were at rehearsal one day and we were vibing, and another drummer said to us that, why not enter a festival? And I was like, you sure? And Ruel said, yeah man, let's do it. And from we did that, like the mass, like it just grew everywhere. Like we get a lot more bookings, like corporate world, and especially Independence and the Eras holiday time, we are totally booked out. because JCDC has put Jamaica on that platform where Jamaica have now known us for quality music, and what a lot of people don't know is that majority of our work is in-house composition, and then we'll just present it. So that's one of the main things that make Jamaica so unique.
We won countless trophies, countless medals. But to me, it wasn't about the trophy and the medals. You know, it was about getting us out there.
The exposure.
The exposure, you know, and JCDC gave us that. And we're thankful for the medals, but I am most grateful
for the exposure.
You know, because sometimes it gets complicated for groups. You know, some people try to form groups and it reaches nowhere because of exposure, and it's hard to expose this because, you know, people have their preferences and all of that. So we enter the competition, you know, to just level all of that and to give us the exposure, because we know that, you know, JCDC is a fair competition, and if you deserve the exposure and you deserve the medals and all of that, you will get it.
From the student's point of view, I think it is only competition in the country that allows you to perform and compete. I don't see any other competition that gives you that. There are other competitions that allow for adults to perform, but not for children from the age of 6 coming right up. And what I find happening is that, especially when you can see the progress of students from year to year, if you have the opportunity to judge a competition this year, next year, the following year, you can literally see the growth of the students as performers. When they come at the next year, they're not the same. That's for those who take keen interest. There are some of them who really just come because their teachers say come. That's the truth. But you can see the growth, you can see the progression, you can see them advancing, getting better. And some will come this year and get a silver medal and cuss and ball and, sir, I can't believe. And the following year, gold medal, perennial gold medalists. And as they advance through the classes, you just see them keep getting better and better. And I know of quite a few of those students, whether they are musicians playing instruments or singers, who are now functioning in the wider society as performers, or even so as teachers. And so, stepping to where the teachers are now, they are also helping to groom another set of students, another set of performers, another set of teachers. As a teacher of music, you learn how to prepare students by virtue of their age groups and stages in their musical development. But it also helps me as a performer myself, because if I am assessing music and I am telling you that you can't do this on stage and you can do this and you can do this to get better, I also have to take that whenever I'm performing, because I'm thinking to myself, you know, one fine day all these kids are going to come to one of my shows and are going to be judging me and say, sir, you remember when you told me that? I don't see you do the same thing on stage. So it helps me because it's like a feedback process. I give you an instruction by virtue of how I'm seeing you perform, and I absorb the same thing so that when I'm performing, it helps as well.
My boy, lollipop, you make my heart go, get up. You set my world on fire. You are my one desire. My boy, lollipop. My boy, lollipop.
My first medal was not in fact a gold medal. I think it was the only non-gold medal that I won at JCDC, and it's the most memorable for me. At Strand Theatre, the now, you know, demolished Strand Theatre. That tells you how long ago this was. And I performed, I did Can't Even Walk by the Great Thrillers, and I got a silver medal. And people were up in arms, man, because by the time I'd done that song, the whole auditorium was on its feet. Everybody was expecting a gold medal. And I remember, normally you pull aside the judges afterwards and you're like, what did I need to do to get the gold medal? And I spoke with Noel Dexter, may God rest his soul, and then Ewan Simpson as well. And I remember him telling me, you have to make the thing your own. You sounded good, but you were doing a little bit too much growl, and you have to make the song your own. You just needed to work a little bit more. Like, I think that the average at that time was you had to score a 90, and I'd probably gotten like a 87.6. And it's like, no couldn't just give me the 4 points. But I think at the time he was really underscoring that you really had to work for it. You had to earn it. And I think that's my greatest lesson that has come out of this, that JCDC was never just about talent, but you really had to work on musicianship and all the other aspects of your art. You have to think about costume. And now that I've studied acting and drama, you have to think about what the given circumstances are within which where the song is occurring. So many other layers that you have to peel off. One year I did not do so well in one of my presentations. I happened to still make it through the round, but one of the reasons I didn't do well is that I didn't rehearse with my band. We hadn't spent enough time together as a troupe rehearsing, and I think certainly as musicians in the professional world, that goes without saying, that you have to spend time honing your craft and rehearsing it. It's one thing to be a talented vocalist and a great performer. It's a whole other thing to have a synergy with the band that you're playing with and a comfort with the music that you're performing, that you just do it in your sleep. It just comes so second nature to you because you've rehearsed it. You've rehearsed it so much. I think of a phrase by Dr. Olive Lewin that says, practice until you can't get it wrong. And that for me is like the hallmark of what a performer wants to achieve. It's not about getting it right, because you can't get it right 1 or 2 times just out of pure luck. But when you've practiced it so much that you cannot get it wrong is really what you want to try to achieve. So I think, if anything else, if among the many things you could take from JCDT, it would be to continue to work on your craft, rehearse, so you can perfect it.
Coconut woman is calling out, and every day you can hear her shout. Coconut woman is calling out, and every day you can hear her shout. You got the coconut water, cocoa good for your daughter. Cocoa got a lot of iron, make you strong like lion.
We are influenced by a lot of things, and this is one way that we use this creativity to help the students. Now, everybody don't have the same talent. Some students are more academically inclined. So it is for us to build and support those students who are very good in the arts, who are talented in the arts, because we know that the arts go a long way, right? Mm-hmm. So it's one way to help to develop them and to guide them along the process. Because in everything, there is a raw talent, but we need to have guidelines to assist to develop the process, to make the best out of what they can do.
Talent pool is just out of this world. I have about 12 boys at my school in my band right now who can play for any artist, not only Jamaican music, pop music. So the talent pool, when I travel the country as an adjudicator, the musicianship of these young people is just on the highest standard. And JCDC giving them this platform to showcase their talent, because in music, sometimes I can be a good musician, but if I don't get the inspiration, if I don't get the platform to showcase my talent, then it wouldn't be of any benefit to me. So the pool of musicians in Jamaica is on a very high level. I would say Jamaican music is in a safe place right now.
I grew up at Alpha Boys School Comprehensive High, and at that age, I usually participate in the JCDC competition as a chorister. So the Alpha Boys Choir would participate in these events, which luckily we came out with a few goals then. Now elevating myself in the music industry, I realized that I wanted to have some input in the development of music in Jamaica. I sought interest in being a judge in the JCDC music competition. St. James is one of the parish that I see has a lot of talent, especially in the instrumental section. And the talent that they have, when joining the force, we would just sort of put it into context to what we do in the JDF. The talents are natural talents that we see in all the different parishes, but I just name out St. James as one of the parishes which has a lot of bands down there.
In 1977, I brought my own band, so to speak, my instrumental ensemble to perform at Sam Sharp, or to perform at actually Cornwall College. And after we performed there, a man called Lloyd Winstanley, who would be starting Herbert Morrison Comprehensive High School in the fall, contacted me and said, would you help me start a school band for my program? So actually I came and I lived in Jamaica and taught in Jamaica for a semester and actually started the band at Herbert Morrison, bringing all the first instruments and all the music and all the stands and everything, and actually the teachers. And from there I went to Mobay High School, and those two programs I started from scratch. I assisted with the Boys Club. I assisted with several different programs through the years. Sam Sharp Teachers College, I lectured up there and was highly involved in that Western Jamaica culture and music, such talented children and everyone so eager to play. I continued to bring instruments from 1977 until 2019, which was last year. And I had a whole gamut of instruments, about 25 to bring down in March of this year. But as you know, COVID-19 had different ideas. And so this year I was not able to come down, and I was planning to work in the schools.
My first school was St. Mary's College. And I raised up a choir at St. Mary's College. We came to festival, we won a bronze medal, and the kids were so excited. I went to St. George's College later on, my old school, raised up a boys' choir there. And that was where the collaboration now with St. Catherine High and St. George's started, because when I went there, the principal, Van Hitchner, said, we want to bring the arts into the school in a very structured way. And I felt the best way to do that was to have a mentorship relationship. So Dr. O'Neill Mundell, who was teaching at St. Catherine High at the time, said to me, come, let's see if we can collaborate. And he taught us how to enter festival, that you don't enter two songs. That don't make no sense. So if you can find, go through, see if you can find some solos and some duets and some group pieces and some choirs. The collaboration between St. George's and St. Catherine High created a synergy that eventually had a set of young people saying, sir, you know, we want to stay in this thing, we need a company, you better form a company. And so that is how Nexus was formed. And in its first year, Nexus entered festival. And it's very fundamental to the trajectory that Nexus was able to take. So we got a lot of goals and national trophies. And what was precious to us is that since then, JCDC has used Nexus for national observances. And it's very important to me because that kind of level of involvement meant that they could see the civic duty and the national duty that
sharing the talent brought.
Mentoring was a big part of my decision to actually be a part of JCDC as a performing arts coach, because when I was growing up, I realized that a lot of the persons who I knew came from communities just like mine. For example, an inner city community and so on. But we are the same persons who was from these places that seemed to be, desolate and so horrible. But we were performing for the Prime Minister of Jamaica, or we were going abroad to represent the country, or we're doing so many different things because JCDC provided that avenue for us to express ourselves, to be creative, to see another world. So for me, being a part of that system, being a part of that journey of finding a way to empower young people was a natural stepping stone. So I wanted to use the art and the vehicle that JCDC provided to give other students, younger people, that exposure. So mentorship for me was important. And just to recount some of the experiences that I had with my mentors and how the conversations we had and just how that interpersonal relationship helped me as an individual and understanding my history, my culture, my worth, my identity, because JCDC is a primary vehicle for a large percentage of the country to practice art, to practice our culture. It is that stage that provides for young people that space where they can literally look at, for example, a Kumina song, and they can isolate and amplify it and decorate it and interact with it and have fun with it. So when you do that, it's about transcending your passion, transcending your culture, transcending your energy. And that for me is the greatest gift you can give to the next generation. And that's the reason I'm very committed to the idea of participating in JCDC and being a mentor.
The time done already? Well, we had a wonderful time with you. And we have so much more to share. So join us next time on Arts Jamboree, JCDC's Showcase of the Arts. Remember to join us via our social media handles. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, I'm Dion Silvera. Walk good.